May 19, 1949, the Republic of China declared martial law in Taiwan after its defeat in the Civil War in China. Martial law lasted 38 years and 56 days until it was lifted on July 15, 1987. During the martial law period, the government successively issued the Betrayers' Punishment Act and Espionage Prevention Act of the period of suppression of communist rebellion, which called for the strict monitoring of people's speech and thought. In particular, these measures prescribed guilt by association and equal guilt if one fails to report spies, which had the effect of purging political dissidents and causing a general sense of insecurity throughout society. This was the so-called White Terror. Under the authoritarian rule during the martial law period, many political cases were handled improperly. If civilians violated the Betrayers' Punishment Act due to inappropriate talk, they were subjected to military trial and might become political prisoners. The fact that the government offered rewards to encourage solving of cases led to many innocent, erroneous, and fabricated cases. During the early martial law period, the political offenders after trial were incarcerated at the Taiwan Provincial Security Command Martial Law Section Detention Center, located at 3 Qingdao East Road, Taipei, from where they were taken to military prison or other prisons after receiving their sentence. In the early 1950s, political prisoners were sent in batches to the New Life Correction Center on Green Island for labor and ideological reform. May 1958, Taiwan Garrison Command was established to replace Taiwan Provincial Security Command. In 1968, the Martial Law Section Detention Center of the Taiwan Garrison Command was relocated from 3 Qingdao East Road to Ershizhang Road, Xindian, where it was renamed Jingmei Martial Law Section Detention Center. The Green Island Prison and Jingmei Detention Center bear the life stories of many political victims and their family members, and both are important historical sites of the White Terror period. In order to underscore the government's commitment to human rights, enhance education concerning human rights, and bear witness to Taiwan's democratization, the Preparatory Office of the National Human Rights Museum was established on December 10, 2011. Jingmei and Green Island Human Rights Culture Parks are both under its jurisdiction. The museum recounts the history of the White Terror as eternal witness. Located 18 nautical miles to the east of Taiwan, Green Island was originally named Fire Burning Island, where once the freedom, life, and dreams of the people were secluded. On May 17, 1951, 1,000 political prisoners were boarded on a ship in Keelung Harbor, cuffed in pairs. After a hot, jarring voyage, they landed at Zhongliao on Green Island, following the oxcart path on foot to the New Life Correction Center, where they began a new life of ideological reform. The Taiwan Provincial Security Command New Life Correction Center employed a concentration camp-style management. The inmates at the correction center were divided into 12 squadrons, where each had approximately 120 to 160 inmates, and the number of inmates was around 2,000 at peak time. From 1963 to 1972, political victims were incarcerated at Taiyuan Prison in Taidong. Due to the Taiyuan incident in 1970, the prisoners were transferred to the Oasis Villa on Green Island in 1972. The current location of Jingmei Human Rights Cultural Park formerly is the site of the School of Military Law. The school was moved in 1967 when it was merged with the Political Staff School and put under control of the Taiwan Garrison Command. The Renai Building was built on the site of the exercise ground of the School of Military Law and served as the Taiwan Garrison Command Martial Law Section Detention Center. Military courts and the first court were built at different times. During the martial law period, it was used for detention, trials, and imprisonment in lieu of the prison, which was an important setting in the history of human rights development in Taiwan. Retracing history is the motivation for us to look ahead to the future and progress. The Preparatory Office of the National Human Rights Museum preserves the stories of sufferings of victims of the White Terror period through oral history and visual documentaries, and it also retains many of the country's important historical memories. Oral history provides an intangible record of the past, and the museum also preserves numerous artifacts in order to maintain the country's tangible and intangible cultural assets. The Preparatory Office has gathered many important artifacts, including Chen Menghe's battered violin and Xu Guibiao's school bag, not only witnessing history, but also conveying the profound emotional overtones of past events. Each artifact tells its own powerful story. We hope that the displayed objects will awaken younger generations and ensure that the errors of the past will not be repeated. The core mission of the Preparatory Office is to preserve the collective and individual historical memories of the White Terror, and the written word is the most convenient medium through which to accomplish this goal. The Preparatory Office has therefore continued to invite political victims and their family members to write down their life stories, and the publication of these accounts has induced a widespread positive response. This special exhibition displays the tangible results of the Preparatory Office's research, preservation of artifacts, and human rights education. The exhibition draws visitors' attention into the historical context of the times and brings people, history, and artifacts out of their confinement in the past so that they can engage in an endless, ongoing conversation. It is said that it takes 10 years to grow a tree, but it can take a century before education can take root in a society. We therefore consider the task of human rights education to be a long-term commitment. In order to deepen human rights education, the Preparatory Office relies on human rights seed instructor workshops, human rights lecture series, and the establishment of a human rights resource teaching website to provide the public and teachers with the tools to assist with this undertaking. We are not just training human rights seed personnel, but also expect these seeds to take root and bear abundant fruit in every corner of Taiwan.
I want to show you some slides from the museum that we will open next year in Canada.
The Preparatory Office has invited scholars from human rights museums in Canada, Chile, and Germany for symposia to share their methods of preserving and recording historical memories. Approximately 70 representatives from 44 countries' human rights organizations have visited the Green Island and Jingmei parks. The Green Island Human Rights Art Festival will be held each year on May 17th, as well as the activities for World Human Rights Day on December 10th. We would like to thank all the elderly political victims for their support, which has enabled the Preparatory Office to make steady progress. In the activities for World Human Rights Day, the artifacts generously donated by the victims or their family members have filled in many blanks in history. The elderly political victims, whose ages now add up to over 1,000 years, spot singing once inspired and sustained them to live through the bitter days of the White Terror. The lessons of history should not be forgotten. Though our bodies can be confined in chains, our souls can soar through high walls to eternity. The political victims used their lives, blood, and tears to fill this dark chapter in history and have lit the path to democracy for future generations. From past mistakes, we can understand history, feel the hardship and sacrifices of the older generation, learn to respect human rights, and avoid the same traps. These will be the utmost tribute to the sacrifices of all the political victims.
我是郭金纯，今嘛伫金尾人权园区。
我是张长美，我在绿岛园区。
我是蔡坤林，我今嘛伫金尾园区。
我是蔡宽义，我在绿岛园区。
我是单身杰，伫金尾园区。
我是陈清生，我在绿岛园区。
我是吴俊宏，我在景美人权园区。
我是陈水泉，我是楚在修，
我是陈东林，
我的故事是人权馆。